Okay, so I guess we are completely live now and I am audible to one and all. So, yeah, things are completely fine. We are completely live and I hope I'm audible as well as clearly visible to one and all present in this particular live session. We'll be just waiting for a couple of minutes and beyond that, we'll be starting up with our interesting topic that is cyber footprints. Okay, so just a minute or two and then we'll be all set to go live. Okay, so I guess it's a good time to start this particular session, and I, on behalf of entire GDSC JSCOE, welcome you all for this particular amazing session on cyber footprints. Now, this session will be a fun and interesting session, basically to get a fundamental idea about cybersecurity, specifically about cyber footprints. So, what exactly are cyber footprints? We'll be understanding that. We'll be covering that part as well, and it won't be a boring technical kind of a session wherein I'll be explaining you some interesting cool practicals as well, and at the same time I'll be clearing you out some prior fundamentals that you need to understand before you basically enter up your journey in cybersecurity or you understand the topic of cyber footprints. Well, without any delay, I'll be getting started with this amazing session, and I hope that your next 45 to 50 minutes or 40 minutes will be worth up your time. So, starting off with my introduction, many of you viewers must be thinking that who am I? So, you have probably basically seen this particular meme on Instagram saying that wait a minute, who are you? Correct? So, even before I move on into the topic in actual depth, I'll be trying to introduce myself in a way wherein you guys can understand who am I, what basically is my work, so that it's easy for you to understand what I have done so far and what you can expect in this particular session. So, my name is Urvesh, and I have nearly 5 plus of years of experience in infosec. So, yes, I've been working into the field of information security since the last 4.5 to 5 years now, and I have worked with multiple organizations and multiple sectors as well. So, be it a private investigation firm like a cybercrime helpline LLP, be it training or tech sectors like Hacktivist, Sim Intelligence, or virtual cyber labs, where I'm currently appointed as the co-founder and CTO, be it an NGO like B4G, be it any community like the Cyber Agents or Anti-Cybercrime Society. I have basically worked with multiple organizations in multiple sectors. Currently, I'm working on DevSecOps at Informatica, and well, if you want to really know more about me, I would suggest that you should not basically try to look up on me on the dating sites. But yeah, if you want to know more about me in detail, you can definitely go ahead and check up my LinkedIn profile. So wherein you can know more about me, about my work, about what do I post, whatever I've been doing recently in my infosec journey. That is what I have been basically showcasing on my LinkedIn as well. Coming to the next part, so this is the slide where I want to like to explain that before the session starts, that this is the expectation versus the reality outcome. So there are certain expectations that you all viewers may basically have from my end or may have from this particular session, but I would like to clear what exactly is the reality over here. So the expectation will be like, okay, this guy is going to talk about ethical hacking, this guy is going to talk about cybersecurity, and this guy is going to talk about something related to cyber and security. Probably, please just tell us how you hack into your girlfriend's or boyfriend's Instagram accounts, or basically how do you jump into hacking into neighbor's Wi-Fi. That could be one of your expectation, correct? But then the reality remains that this particular session is not focused towards teaching you how to hack into things, but then this particular session will be oriented towards to give you a basic fundamental idea or a starting point. So it's just like the pyramid. That's why I've included this particular image. So it's in a progressive stage, basically. In It starts from the bottom and you go up till the top. That is how you climb a pyramid. That is how you climb the learning curve of cybersecurity as well. So probably, you know right now you are at this particular level where you have a lot of things that you can basically are expecting from the session, like he'll be teaching hacking this and that. But then currently it's like we need to understand that we need to go step by step. So even if you want a lot of knowledge, you need a lot of dedication and time. So then you basically grow and you grow and you climb the pyramid of success. So similarly, the only point is that this session is not the only ultimate session, okay, that you basically are expecting from me. There will be an entire series of footprints on GDSC JSCOE officially. Yes, so considering this as our first and very first session of cyber footprints, you can say campaign. So I won't be, going into much technical terms. I won't be going into much detailed analysis terms. Whatever I'll be trying to cover will be on a surface level so that even freshers and the people who are not into cyber or who do not are not tech savvy basically can also understand what I'm trying to say. Okay. Now, the actual meaning of cyber footprints I'll be quickly introducing basically over here, that information is equal to intrusion. We all have been going through the internet age and we know that information is present everywhere. And who is sharing this particular information is basically we ourselves. So at the end of the day, information is equal to intrusion. That is the focus of the entire basically session for today. In simple terms, we will be understanding about information gathering. What is information gathering? What is open source intelligence? How do you conduct an open source intelligence? And what are the different approaches? What are the use cases? And so on. So it's just like today, if you are onto the internet, basically we all know that this particular age is called as the stalking age, correct? And whatever that happens, that is a part of stalking, in fact. Okay, just a minute. I'll just um, load up the live chat. Yeah, so I guess the live chat, yeah, it's visible now. So this particular age is called as the information age, wherein anyone can target anybody. So if I'm trying to attack someone, I can easily do that by stealing out or by looking out at the information of that particular person in action. So that is what cyber criminals are doing today. They are basically targeting the information. They are basically trying to take out as much as information possible so that they can attack or they can make anyone their victim. Let me give you a very common and a layman example for this. So let's say that you are basically an attacker, okay, and you are trying to attack a particular person. So you are trying to attack someone with an Android malware, you are trying to basically just try to install virus on their smartphone. Now you have done everything, your attack or your virus or your malware is completely ready, and you are basically about to launch your malware. Once you launch it, you are failed at it. Now you tried multiple times, but you still fail at it. Now, later you wonder that why you are failing at it, because the user that you're trying to attack does not have an Android phone. Basically, that person is using an iPhone, so the software is iOS, and you are trying to develop a malware in Android Studio for your Android devices. So obviously, you're trying to build up an APK malware, an APK app for the Android device hacking, and the user is an iPhone user. So, and anyways, because you don't have proper information, you lack the information that you need, you fail in attacking. Similarly, a lot of types of information are available onto the social media platforms. And my approach will be to make you introduced with open source intelligence. So meanwhile, I'm also having my eye on to the live chat so that you people can ask up questions, or if you want to say something, you can do that as well. So, talking about information gathering in cybersecurity, so why do we call cyber footprints as footprints? So, let me give you again a very common, relatable, real life layman example. So, let's say you are basically walking by the beach. Yeah. So I have been to Goa, and Goa is famous for beaches, correct? So I'm walking by the beach, and there's amazing sunset and cold breeze. So I'm not trying to make the session romantic over here at all, but just an example. So let's say you're walking by the beach, and what happens during that time? While you're walking through the beach, while you're walking through the sand that is there, your footsteps are basically imprisoned into the sand, and your footsteps are basically marked onto the sand, on the surface of the sand. Your footsteps are clearly visible. So what will happen? A next wave of ocean or a tide will come, and your footsteps will be gone. So these footsteps basically are similar to the cyber footsteps. So that in cyber world, whatever activity that you are doing, even the smallest activity that you are basically performing, even the minute activity that you're performing onto the social media, it gives an impression, it gives a footprint. And unlike real world, cyber footprints are not erasable. Once your cyber footprint is created, it will start spreading like fire. And even if you try to remove it, it will be already present on some one or the multiple sources at the same time. So that is what importance of cyber footprint is. Now coming to cyber footprint, there are three stages of information gathering. Basically, there are three categories of information gathering. Number one is active, number two is passive, and number three is semi passive. So I have given very simple and straightforward examples for them on the screen. So active, I hope that major of the audience that are viewing this particular live stream, they do understand Hindi as well. So the active recon, basically it focuses on direct bath, no bakwas. What does it basically mean? In active recon or in active footprinting, there is direct interaction between the attacker and the victim, or the attacker and the target. Okay, so a real life example could be you're getting a call from a scammer pretending to be from HDFC or IDFC or whatsoever bank, saying that, hey, I'm calling from this bank, and your KYC is going to expire, or your credit card details, or your card has been blocked, and so on. Or I'm calling from Geo Airtel regarding your basically your forwarding requests and so on. Correct. So that is what happens in active reconnaissance, wherein the attacker is in directly connection with the target. Okay, that is what happens. So in active recon, there is a huge risk of making the target alerted, but at the same time, the accuracy of the information is quite high, because whatever information that you are getting, you have been getting it directly from the target. Correct. And the chances of target giving you a false information is very less, is very less. That is active reconnaissance. Now coming to passive reconnaissance, that is what we call as ek tarfa pyar. Poor people or shy people like me, who are not that open. I'm just kidding. I'm a very extrovert person. I love to interact with all. I'm just kidding over here. So passive reconnaissance, what is this ek tarfa? I mean, what happens in passive, there is no direct interaction between the attacker and the target. So whatever happens in passive, the target is completely unaware of the things that what's going on, because there is no direct interaction. There is no at all interaction directly. That is passive. And third comes semi passive, which basically we call as please meri setting laga de, to the best friends. Now, to the males out there watching this live stream, do not ever trust the male best friends of your female crushes. Okay. Apart from the jokes, what is semi-passive? Semi-passive is just like a jack, a man in the middle. So what happens in semi-passive? Someone else on your behalf is taking information from the target and giving it to you. So let's say I am Urvesh, and my friend is, let's say, Ramesh, and my target is, let's say, Sakshi. Okay, so I want to collect information about Sakshi. So because I am not that cool, I'm not that active, I want to be on a passive mode. So I am not going to directly interact with, let's say, Sakshi directly, not at all. What I will do is I will basically tell Ramesh to collect information from Sakshi directly. So me, Ramesh, and Sakshi are connected mutually. So me and Sakshi are in the same college. Sakshi and Ramesh are in the same tuitions or same classes. So Ramesh and Sakshi will be in direct connection. Whatever information that Sakshi is providing to Ramesh directly, Ramesh will commit and give it to me. So I am not directly connected with Sakshi at all, but Ramesh is. That is semi-passive because someone else from my behalf is basically doing an active reconnaissance. I hope the things are clear so far. So if yes, I just want a yes down in the chat section if you all are watching properly. So यार अगर अभी तक समझ में आ रहा है तुम लोगों को, so you can drop down in the chat a yes so that I can move forward. So also do let me know how you're feeling it so far. How is the session going so far? I do have an eye on the chat section as well, the live chat section. It's just for you basically. You do use its potential, correct? So basically these are the three stages of information gathering. One is active, passive, and semi-passive, out of which the segment for today's session will be passive and semi-passive, and specifically we talk about open source intelligence, so OSINT, correct? So what is this OSINT, open source intelligence? So this open source intelligence is nothing but you are trying to collect publicly available information, you are trying to collect publicly available data of a particular target or a person from the social media sites. So yeah, to be very honest, that is what we call as stalking in our day-to-day life. Who can know this much better than the males over here or the guys out there trying to stalk up onto profiles of their crush. Okay, anyways, भाव तो नहीं मिलता है, that's a different story. But then yeah, coming to open source intelligence back. So in open source intelligence, what we try to do is we try to collect as much as information possible, but the information is completely open source. Open source means whatever information that is being posted by the target himself or herself, that is open source information. Now you might be assuming okay, um, so whatever status that you keep, or whatever um, DP that you keep, or whatever tagline, whatever Instagram bio, whatever websites, blogs that you create are all open source. Yes, they are open source. Let me give you a very you can say shady information okay, which might be scary. Many of you might already know it. So anyone, let's try to interact in the chat as well. So what happens, let's say you are using Instagram, correct? I hope all of you, maximum all of you, are using Instagram over here. Do you know what happens on once you upload a picture on Instagram? Have you ever read its privacy policy? So anyone in the chat can say me that what is in the Instagram's privacy policy, that once you upload a photo on Instagram, what happens? Anyone who is aware? I'll be waiting a minute or two and in the live chat, because I really want to interact with you all participants. What happens when you basically upload a picture on Instagram according to the privacy policy? Okay, we'll just wait a minute for the responses. I guess no one of you reads the privacy policy properly, because I'm not able to see any of the responses yet. Probably there could be a latency issue at my end. I could get the live chat a bit late. But let me try to make you aware that what happens when you upload a picture on Instagram. Exactly, I got the answer from Arsalan. Instagram owns the right of the uploaded images. So yes, what happens once you upload your images on Instagram? Instagram owns the entire right. So Instagram says that now once you upload your photo, that particular photo is not yours. The entire ownership of that image is with Instagram now. And that is what is mentioned in the privacy policy, which we don't ever read. I myself don't read ever any privacy policy. I don't have time for that, to be very honest, right? But then that's how the things are there shady onto the internet, correct? Hence the concepts like decentralization and blockchain and web3 and these all things came up, NFTs, so that they can manage and control the ownership of the data and the information that is present online. Okay, coming to the main point, what happens in this open source? We are basically trying to utilize different tools, different methods, different approaches to collect information. Now your question would be that, Urvesh, what is the difference between open source intelligence and stalking? Because what you are trying to say, भाई हम वो रोज करते हैं, हम रोज सोशल मीडिया पे जाते हैं, रोज किसी की प्रोफाइल सर्च करते हैं, रोज उसको अलग अलग जगहों पे ढूंढने की ट्राई करते हैं, फॉलो रिक्वेस्ट भेजते हैं, भाव नहीं मिलता, वी गिव अप, वी फाइंड समवन एल्स. That process, and what's the difference between what you are calling in a very big term open source intelligence and OSINT? What's the difference between that and this? So what we people do on a day-to-day basis, um stalking, or even if I want to give a real life example of open source, is you and your friend are discussing about a new cafe katta that is near your college, or you and your friend are discussing about a new vada pav ka thela that is there at your college. And see, at the end of the day, you and your friend are discussing about a new place, correct, where you want to visit. Now that place is not just restricted for you, that place is open for all. So not only you and your friend, but anyone in the world or anyone can go and in that place can sit and can eat. That is an open source information. Whatever information that you get in your newspapers, in your news channels, again it's open source. Why? Because anyone in the world having the same newspaper do have access to the same piece of information. Anyone in the world watching Aaj Tak will be getting the same piece of information that you are getting on your television screen. So we are doing it on a day-to-day basis. We are doing open source. In fact, in if you guys are good at Hindi and Marathi, um, we basically call it as panchat karna. Panchat. What does it mean? It means, let's say me and my friend are discussing or back bitching about someone, this and that, this and that, this and that, correct? So and this information goes boom, spread it like a fire. So again, these are some of the day-to-day examples. But in open source intelligence, in cyber terminologies, what exactly open source means, that you are not just collecting the information. Yeah, no, collection is just one part of it. You are collecting, and basically you are trying to sort, and you are trying to analyze based upon the collection. So see, when you collect the information, there will be a lot of pieces of data that is completely unrelatable, that is not relevant, or that is out of the context. You have to eliminate that first. In technical terms, we call it as data cleaning. Basically, we eliminate the outliers from it. And then analysis. So based upon your data information or whatever you have collected, you do the analysis and try to figure out that how you can move forward in your strategy ahead. So what strategy? The attack strategy ahead. So information gathering, what I'm trying to say as a point of a conclusion, that information gathering is the first step towards ethical hacking, or is the first step towards any attack in cybersecurity. Without information gathering, you cannot basically do any kind of a cyber attack, because you don't have the prerequisite information or knowledge at all. Now, right now, you all viewers, after hearing so much of explanation and this and that, this could be your condition right now, that भाई बकवास कर रहा है, अब प्लीज बंद कर दे, and exactly बता कि क्या कर रहा है. I mean, the point is, you might feel that, are you really crazy? You are saying that information gathering is a fundamental of ethical hacking, or just by collecting information I can decide an attack strategy? Yes, I am not kidding. That is the first stage of any ethical hacking. And trust me, not only from me and not only from GDSC, but if you are studying cybersecurity from anywhere in the world, if information gathering is not the first step in that particular, resource, then my friend, you are wasting your time at that's what I know for sure. So you should be very, very good, very, very skilled at gathering information, collecting the information, and deciding your attack strategy. Because based upon your information that is collected, the attackers will target you. Basically, as I said, that if I have information about my target, I can manipulate, I can, try to increase my creativity of attack. Correct. So let's say if my target loves, ice creams, if I know that, then I could be communicating with my target, or I could be indulging with my target based on a common point of interest, that is ice creams. Because I know that if I talk about something which fascinates my target, which is in the favor of my target, the target will interact. Now, it doesn't matter whether it's active, passive, or semi passive. There should be information on that basis. Basically, you're making an initial hook or an initial connect. Correct. So let me even present you this, that whatever I've been saying so far is not just my own words. So who basically justifies that yes, information gathering is the first and foremost step. So basically there are two important concepts in the cybersecurity world, which are called as CKC, that is the cyber kill chain, and the MITRE attack framework. Now these are very two big industry standards that are out there into the industry, used by companies like Microsoft, Google and blah blah. In short, भाई बहुत बड़े standards है यार, ठीक है, इतना ही बोलना है, बहुत बड़े standards हैं, बहुत बड़े frameworks हैं ये दोनों, CKC and MITRE attack. Okay, so if you even look up on CKC or MITRE attack, let me basically show you. So let's say if I search cyber kill chain, and in the next slide I search MITRE attack framework. This is the cyber kill chain image. Oops. And this is the MITRE attacks official website. So what is this cyber kill chain? Cyber kill chain is basically defining you the series of steps in which an attack is conducted. So if an attacker is trying to attack someone, or if an attacker is trying to attack an organization, what are the sequence of the steps that an attacker will follow in order to attack a particular person? That is what is illustrated in cyber kill chain. So the first step is reconnaissance, the second step is weaponization, the third step is delivery, and so on. But the very first step is reconnaissance. Recon means footprinting, recon means collecting information. So even a big standard like cyber kill chain is saying that reconnaissance or information gathering is the first fundamental approach. Coming to the MITRE attack framework, this is the entire matrix that is there for the attack framework, and in which the very first tactic that is mentioned is reconnaissance, and these are the different methods through which reconnaissance can be achieved. Correct. But at the end of the day, what I'm just trying to explain is that these are the big industry frameworks, industry standards used by companies, individuals and whatnot. They themselves are mentioning reconnaissance or information gathering as the first and foremost step. Hence, whatever I've explained as a form of speech, जो भी मैंने अभी तक ज्ञान दिया है, considering myself as Sandeep Maheshwari, is justified, because these two frameworks are also saying that hey, reconnaissance is an important part. Correct. Now, the last slide that basically I want to present up for today is pivoting. So OSINT basically is all about pivoting. So OSINT is to be combined with pivoting skills. Then and then only you can call yourself as OSINT. And someone in the chat, Manas Innovations, है ये पीपीटी कहीं तो देखा हुआ है. अरे भाई मेरा पीपीटी है. दूसरे सेशन में यूज किया होगा मैंने. So it's completely fine. If you have already seen this PPT somewhere, probably you can take it as a revision class from my end. Thank me later. Anyways, so pivoting means stalking, means the Angel Priya scam. So what is this pivoting basically? What happens in pivoting? So in pivoting, you have one piece of information with you. From that one single piece of information, you move to the other pieces of information. So let's say from A you move to B, from information B you collect C. So anyone, I mean you guys, you are very much interactive in the chat. You say like, with an email address, let's say if I have an email address, what all information I can collect just using an email address? What do you think? You guys are very creative, you can write down in the chat. Correct. So what do you think? Just by using an email address, what all information you can collect? Any clue? Any idea? Now again I'm repeating that do not consider this particular session as very technical, or I'll be demonstrating hacking and phishing and everything at in this particular session. As I am repeating that cyber footprints is not just about one session. We'll be continuing up with the entire series. So as soon as we move on into the series ahead, we'll be learning new and new things. Correct. Coming to the question that what you can get from an email. Yes, there are responses like you can get a name, you can get phone number, and a lot of things you can basically you can even get the DP, the photo if there is there photos and video drive. Okay, could be there. So at the end of the day, let's say you have one piece of information. From that single point of information, you are pivoting into other pieces of information as well. In real life scenario, you have seen Crime Patrol and Kuch To Gadbad Hai Daya Wala CID. In that, what happens? They try to show pivoting. That is scripted, but they try to show pivoting. It means that the police is trying to reach from one piece of information to another, and in reality also, that process is called as linking of the chain of evidences. So you have one evidence. From that one evidence you reach out to another, from another you reach out to the third, and that is how you reach out to the culprit. Correct. That same thing happens in pivoting in OSINT. Correct. So what happens in OSINT? You have one single piece of information, and you try to collect as many as things possible. Okay. So that is very very important in open source intelligence, because if you don't have the pivoting skills, you are not able to move from one piece of information to the next one. Okay. That is there. So let me give you a quick example. Let me bus try to open up a GCP console. Now the same thing you can do in your Linux, but I don't want to complex the session by using Linux and booting into my Ubuntu machine and all. So what I'm just doing is I'm using GCP. Now what is this GCP? It's a Google Cloud Shell. So I don't need to open Linux somewhere else. There is inbuilt Linux running in my GCP, in your GCP as well. All you need to do is just go onto Google Cloud Platform or Google Cloud Shell, and you can basically launch up this shell and it will start initiating your cloud machine within a few minutes. Correct. And here I'll be showcasing you one interesting tool. Although I did not aspire to cover tools and detailed practical in this session. So number one, do not judge me on the basis of this particular first session, because all I can say is, guys, 5 years of experience cannot be taught in a 1 hour of session. So since my beginning, I've been working into the category of Recon, in the category of open source intel. Even if you go up on my LinkedIn, if you check up my work history and all, if you check up my past, I have been working with Maharashtra Cyber, that is Office of Special Inspector General of Police. I've been working with cyber cells departments, private investigation firms, just for collecting information, just for OSINT. So in OSINT, there is a thing called as profiling. There are these private investigation firms. People come over there and they pay for profiling. Yeah, they pay for profiling. Now, what is this profiling basically? Profiling is nothing but the concept of um, collecting the publicly available information. So what we do in profiling is we get a target. Now the target could be as big as name, email, mobile number, everything, or the target could be as small as just an email or just a name at times. So just using that, we collect all the open source publicly available data, segment it, analyze it, and formulate in a proper and organized report. Yeah, we do create a report. You will be shocked that there are people who have such a big social footprint that the report is of 50, 60, 70 pages of all the information that is there about them on publicly available. And the best part is anyone can access it, and they get scared. They really get scared. Okay, so I'll basically show you in this session that how I freaked out one of my friend in my college just by using a small trick. Yeah, you want to learn that? If yes, you can write down in the chat. And trust me, if people are not aware of this, they get freaked out. Okay, they do get freaked out. So, do you want to learn a small trick through which I basically try to freak out others? And there are tons and tons of tricks like this. Just one of them I'll be, showcasing in this particular session. So just waiting for your interaction in the chat, people. So if you just drop down a yes, we can get started. I guess there is a latency in my live chat stream. I'm not able to see the live messages on spot. Anyways, there is a slight latency in YouTube live. Okay, I have started receiving yes, yes, and yes. Amazing, cool. So there is this tool. I'm not sure how many people know about it, but if you are in search on GitHub, there is this tool called as ghunt. GitHub is the platform for open source, and we are talking about open source information. How can we forget GitHub? So there is this tool called as ghunt on GitHub. Let us try to utilize this particular tool. Okay, the commands and all are already mentioned over here. You don't need to worry about anything. So first of all, you just need to clone the tool and just try to paste it in my terminal. Yeah, change your directory into ghunt. It's a Python based tool, so there is a requirements.txt file over here. You need Python 3. So let me check. Yeah, so if you type pip3, it will verify that do you have Python 3 and the associated pip library or not. So pip3 install -r requirements.txt. Now for the ones who are scratching their heads right now that what this guy is showcasing on the terminal, I'm not getting a bit, do not worry. I'll be showing you the alternative of this particular tool. I'll be showing you an alternate option for this particular tool. So don't get bored. Don't think that you need to leave the live session because this is technical. Don't worry. I'll be giving you an alternate of it. Cool. So we are done so far. And again, you don't need to worry about the commands and all. It's already been provided over here, right? So what you need to do is at your first time use, you need to enter your Google cookies over here. Okay. So what are these Google cookies? Now these Google cookies basically will help you to extract information. Uh, in terms of whatever profile that you are searching, these cookies will act as your user, because see, these tools either they do require API or they do require set of cookies and all those things, correct? So that what happens. Okay. So again, if API is there, API will basically make a request on your behalf to the cookies. If not, then there are other ways as well. Let's say in this cookies and all, wherein the Google will be using cookies to make requests on your behalf to search up or the look up for the information. Okay. So I need to first generate and validate cookies. So this is the script that I need to run first. So Python 3 check and check underscore and underscore gen.py, and it will ask you for some certain cookies. Now it says permission denied because I didn't mention the sudo over here. Okay, so sudo pip3 install -r requirements.txt. I know this could be a bit technical for the new people who are not getting it, but don't worry, I'll be showing you an alternative as well. A simple one website alternative. Anyone, meanwhile, who are there in the chat, I'll just open my live chat again. Do you know a tool like ghunt, which is not a CLI, which is a website? If yes, you can write down in the chat. So sudo python 3 check and gen.py. You have to enter the cookies over here. How do you get these cookies? So there is this Chrome extension. You can get it for Microsoft Edge as well, or for Firefox, called as ghunt companion. I have already installed over here. Okay. Now, once this extension is installed, you need to go on your Google account homepage, that is accounts.google.com. Then you need to click on this extension, and then you have to click on this method 2, that is base64, and click on launch. The cookies are copied to your clipboard. Go to your ghunt tool and just paste those cookies. See, this is my cookie over here that I got from ghunt. Enter. Okay, sorry. So I have to choose number 2, that is C. Number 2 is for base 64 encoded cookies companion. I'll paste the cookies over here. The cookies are invalid, it says. Let's try to regenerate the cookies. Just refresh my page once, launch the cookies again. Okay, it says invalid. Let's try to do it one last time with some other Google account this time. Launch. Oops, sorry, again a wrong mistake. Okay, so cookies are invalid. Let's do one thing. We can, instead of generating the cookies manually, let me show you an interesting tool which is similar to this. Probably there is an extension update over here. That's why it says it is fetching the same cookie again and again. Okay. No worries, happens. Open source tools, they do break anytime. Okay, let me just try to show you on this particular website. So why I left ghunt and came down to this website is the fact I didn't want it to waste your time. Correct. So EPIOS, this particular website, is based on the same concept on which ghunt is based. Now your question would be that if this particular website is based same just like ghunt, then why were you wasting your time on ghunt? The point is, I was just trying to show you the back-end working of the Python scripts. Unfortunately, the ghunt cookie fetcher is not working properly. No worries, we can try again later. But then yeah, this particular website is based on the exact same working of ghunt. Okay, so let's say you have a target email address over here. Let me input my own email address. Okay, So once I put an input email address over here and I click on search, it will ask me for a captcha verification. Let me just quickly complete this. Okay, even before that, I guess I need to sign in. Yeah, so I'll first sign in. Once you sign in, then only this particular website will work as per your needs. Once you sign in, this will be your signed in as this is my email, and now you can search up for any email address over here. This small method is powerful enough to make anyone freak out. Cool. Okay. Yeah, here you go, guys. See, this is the information. So the photo of the Google account, you can open it, you can see it in the full screen. This is my own Google account. What all information you get? You get information, what is the name, the Google ID, and the Google map history. So anyone who is on a local Google guide and all those things, you can get all this sort of information. So let me just try to open this. You see, I am in incognito right now. I have not signed in any of the Google account, correct? And here, because I am a Google review guide, it gave me a link from here based upon the G Hunt backend working. And I can view this and I can see that, okay, these are the reviews and the photos this particular person have given upon Google. And yes, there are photos attached many times onto the Google reviews. You can basically just freak out anyone, okay, that 3 years ago, 2 years ago, you have been onto this place and this and that. Similarly, the information that you get is whole he, that is, again, this is a GitHub tool, you can check up on GitHub. It basically shows you that this particular email address is used in which all websites, obviously the popular ones. It gives you Skype information, it gives you Duolingo information if this account is linked to Duolingo. And if you are a premium user of this particular site, it will even scrape out more information for you. Okay, isn't this interesting? you know this is how basically you can just search up any email address, and at least just using an email address you can find so much of information. Again, someone had mentioned in the chat that you can scrape out details like the databases, the data breaches and all those things, again a part of our future sessions. The journey of cyber footprint has just started. It's just a very basic, damn lame session. Similarly, one thing I wanted to showcase is there is a service. It's open source as well as paid as well, which is called as Spiderfoot. You can just directly search up Spiderfoot on Google, create an account, and you will be getting this particular interface. So this Spiderfoot is again one of the famous platforms or companions for open source intelligence, that is OSINT. Let's say you can search up a domain, you can search up an organization, you can search up a person, you can search up an email, anything you can search up, and you can initiate a scan onto those targets. For your reference, I have just initiated 2 dummy scans over here. So my first target was this domain, that is virtualcyberlabs.com. Let's see what are the scan results. So what this Spiderfoot will do, it will basically scrape out every damn thing about this particular target that Spiderfoot is able to scrape out. So see, Spiderfoot basically correlated the vulnerability information, because this website is a domain, right? So websites do contain or do may have vulnerabilities in them. Because my target was a website, Spiderfoot focused on to the vulnerability aspect of it. What are the loopholes? What are the vulnerabilities in it? It found out that browse by data type. So what kind of data that I have? So I have accounts on external site, domain names, how many are there, email addresses, correct, type. I have internet names, web contacts, co-hosted sites, company names, countries, TXT records, email addresses, so many of this information. This is support at the rate virtual cyber labs, correct? So what I'm just trying to say is Spiderfoot is again a OSINT tool that makes your job easier. Okay. Again, as I said, that complete OSINT cannot, whatever OSINT that I am doing in my day-to-day life, I cannot just explain it in a 1 hour session. So all I'm just trying to show is some halka fulka, easy peasy tutorials to you right now. Similarly, the best part is you can visualize this data as a form of a node graph. Okay. So you can expand, or you can basically view this data in a form of a tree graph. Linked external URLs you can see over here, the targeted websites you can see over here, and the entire expansions of the information you can see in Spiderfoot. Very interesting tool, one of my favorite. If I go back in scans, let me show you another scan over here with my name. So what I did, I searched for myself on Spiderfoot, and whatever unique elements that Spiderfoot found related to my name, Urvesh Thakkar, it showed. So correlations is 0, browse by data type. So you see, account on external websites, it is trying to extract information like if Urvesh Thakkar is present on some other websites, probably I could be any one of them. It finds on the basis of human name, the username, and so on. Correct? Again, there is graph for it available. So see, the more precise data you provide to Spiderfoot, the more information it will scrape out for you. Correct? So that is what Spiderfoot and all these interesting tools. Just giving you a point that if you want to, after the session, if you want to explore yourself, there is another tool like Spiderfoot which is open source, that is Multigo. So I'm not showcasing this to you again, it's a part of our future sessions and all, but then yeah, Multigo is again an open source as well as a paid proprietary, two in one. In whatever way you want to use, they provide both the models. Basically a software for doing open source intelligence, and it provides you information in the form of visual graphs and all those kind of stuff. Correct? It's again one of my favorite, not my, but one of the most favorite tools of cyber aspirants or people who are working in the cyber industry and so on. Correct? So I hope that this particular initial session that I wanted to present to you people on, at least on getting started with open source intelligence or information gathering, is clear to you. Now one conclusion from my end that I would like to give to all the viewers is would be like that this session, do not again consider it as one in the last session, or don't think that cybersecurity is all about this whatever I've said. There will be sessions on how to hack into Instagram, how to hack into neighbors Wi-Fi. Yes, there will be sessions on it as well. But at the end of the day, my agenda was to give you a straightforward path that if you want to start with information gathering. So out of the entire session, the only thing that you should keep in your mind, forget everything. Let's say you don't remember anything, but the only thing that I want you people to keep in your mind is, if you want to get started in cybersecurity, start with information gathering, start with reconnaissance, start with research. So the more better you are at information gathering, the more better you are at recon, the more better you are at research. Number one, it will help you in cybersecurity, and number two, it will help you overall to be a more research oriented person in your life. Okay, so I'll be just waiting a minute or two if we do have any doubts on to the live chat. Okay, even if there are no doubts, please feel free to tell me how was the session, how did you enjoy it. I know it was a very primitive, fundamental, basic session, but that is what I wanted to start at. I didn't want it to directly jump onto the heavy end tasks because I know many viewers, many of the audience are completely basic. They do have zero knowledge about these kind of things, right? So we need to learn together, grow together, consider everyone in the team. That's why the sessions will be basic, advanced, intermediate, ekdam advanced, so on. We'll be proceeding, guys. So you can tell me how was this session, or any doubts if you have so far. I'll be just waiting a minute or two, and we'll be seeing the live chat in case if there are any doubts. So there is one message that we need one more long session. So Shivam, I guess you're there in the session since the beginning, correct, Shivam? So again, I'm repeating the same thing, that do not consider this session as the only one session. This was just as a a starting point, and initial interaction, an initial hook to get started, to bring up that fire, to bring up that vibe. Okay, I'm interested. That's how. Again, I'm saying that the cyber footprints is not just one session, it's a series of sessions. A cyber footprint is an entire campaign. So, yes, we do understand that more sessions, more practicals are required. Again, I'm saying I have 5 years of experience in cybersecurity and I cannot give it in just 1 hour of session. So, what is a roadmap for cybersecurity college dropout student? Gamer plus programmer. If भाई अगर तेरे को हिंदी समझता है ना, I'll be very frank, there is no specific roadmap. There is, if anyone says that this is a roadmap, I just think that they are just fooling you. You have to decide your own roadmap, bhai. Who else can decide a roadmap for you? There could be series of steps, but then at the end of the day, it's all about your own personal research. See, I am into digital forensics, I'm into cyber investigation. That doesn't mean that I recommend you the same, because your interest might be something else. Maybe you could be good at web application testing or web application hacking. That is completely and solely based upon your own research, your own mindset, and your own vision. And the most important, what do you enjoy? Which subject do you enjoy the most? you know so this question, what is a roadmap for cybersecurity, can only be answered when you have an initial research with you, when you are at least clear about the domains that are there, and that can only be done by self research. Okay, there are tons of videos available online on YouTube. Learn ethical hacking in 18 hours, learn ethical hacking in 10 hours, learn ethical hacking in 5 hours. No video, no hours can make you an ethical hacker. That's completely based upon your skill set. It's not like in 18 hours I'll be an ethical hacker and I'll get plush lavish job in cybersecurity. It's not possible, man. It's not possible. Correct. So does it need coding skills? In cybersecurity, you don't require any kind of coding skills. If you do have, that's good. Okay, if you do have coding skills, it's good. But if you don't have, it's fine. I am not a good coder, I don't know coding. Still, I'm there in cybersecurity since last 5 years, and I'm sustaining. Correct. So yeah, it doesn't require any coding skills. Anyone else? By the way, you can even get in touch with me over my LinkedIn or even on my Instagram. You can search up for my name, Urvesh Thakkar. It's a public account, kind of sasta promotion I'm doing currently. But yeah, you can basically do follow up me over there if you want, case if in case if you want to connect apart from the live sessions. Well, we do have a minute or two left in our hand. In case if I get more doubts over here, I'll be answering them. If not, I want at least the people who are watching to put your viewpoint, that how was the session. 5 years of sessions and making cookies public. 2253 Rohit Mehra. Prove me out what you can do with those cookies. Okay, just prove me out that what you could do with those cookies. I challenge you, man. You think that I'm exposing my Google cookies public and that can be very sensitive? Yeah, see, you know, cookie credential stealing or cookie stealing, you know, cookie, hijacking the cookies and all. Damn, those are old school vulnerabilities. I do understand that where you are going. But then the challenge is, if you think that I'm exposing cookies, you're trying to, say that I have 5 years of experience and I don't know the basic that I should not expose cookies. Go up. use G Hunt, take the cookies, connect with me on Instagram, connect with me in personal, and show me what you can do with those cookies. To what extent you can go. It's an open, you can say, open, healthy, competitive challenge that I would like to give in a live stream. Sorry, we forget to ask, sir, what are your qualifications? Uh, I guess this is more like an interrogation now, Shivam. So see, in terms of qualifications, I've done a lot of things in cybersecurity pertaining to cybersecurity certifications as well. I've done my diploma in cybercrime investigation. I've done CH, CHFI, ECTIA, CEIR, and many things. You can just connect up with me on my LinkedIn, right? I don't want to bluff off on the live chat, on the live stream actually. So Shivam, you can connect up with me on my LinkedIn. You can basically see my entire professional biodata, not the Bharat Matrimony biodata, but you can see the professional biodata on LinkedIn. Cool. Any more doubts? Anyone? Well, we just have a minute or two, even less than that. In case if you have some doubts or if you want to say something, you can just drop down in the chat. Well, the recording anyways of the session will be available after the stream ends. Well, you guys can write down your opinion, your feedback, or what you want to go up for the next session. And we can start up with that, considering your feedback. Okay. So, so there are again a question like in terms of cookies being shown. There was the same thing by Rohit Mehra. Anyways, I just try to do some research. Man, number one, there is not just one cookie. When it comes to a site like Google, there are multiple cookies in use. And these cookies, they do expire very, very, very soon. They keep on changing. Number one, you cannot do anything out of it. Any great level of mischief. And number two, even if you try to do something, let's say that's not even possible. Even if you try to do something out of it, they do expire in a while. It won't be working. Okay, just clearing the doubt. Hence, I even said to one of the viewer, Rohit Mehra, that it's an friendly challenge that try to do anything with that cookie. Show me. You're saying that the cookie should not be exposed, but just try to do anything. How can we get a certificate in cybersecurity? How can we get a certificate in cybersecurity? Well, how could you basically ask a question like this? Because I mean, it completely depends on what do you want to go, what do you want to stay. See, there are tons and tons of things on the internet today. मात्र 90 रुपए में एथिकल हैकिंग सीखे से लेकर 90,000 तक का भी कोर्स है. Correct. You need to, that's what I'm saying, you need to analyze your viewpoint first, your research part first, and what is your skill set, where do you want to really go. So my approach would be that find out things online as much as possible for free. Try to create your own mind map for it, then come to me or go to any other mentor and then ask भाई कौन सा certificate करना है उस हिसाब से then we can tell you that do this do that. Let's say you want to enter web application hacking and I recommend you certificates of MITRE attack framework or digital forensics. That's anyways not going to be of use. Correct. And there are a lot of free certifications also. There is one certification from Cisco about cybersecurity fundamentals. You can go up and you can check up that as well. There is one free certification from EC Council called as EHE, that is Ethical Hacking Essentials. And these certifications, I'm not saying that they will make you an ethical hacker, but at least your fundamentals will be damn clear. You'll get an initial base to get started. That's what you can do. Cool enough. Well, I hope no more doubts. My mind in CH version 12 and OSCP. You are, CH version 12 किधर है और OSCP किधर है? You know, OSWB. Just by writing big certification titles, you know, doesn't mean that it's fine. Or just because you are seeing these names onto the internet doesn't mean it's fine. There are much more prestigious certifications than CEH. Okay, the CH is just a fundamental type. OSCP is where you require good amount of knowledge in pen testing, good amount of knowledge in buffer overflows and vulnerabilities and stuff. You need to practice hack the box and try hackney machines and all. So if you're already aware of these certifications and the criteria and the process, you can go for it. But again, do remember cybersecurity certifications are with a huge cost. They do require a heavy investment, right? If you fail, you need to take care of your finances also. And more than the certifications, try to build up a skill set. There have been, a change into the hiring trend in cybersecurity where the recruiting people, they do look the certifications also if you have, but if you even if you don't have big titles, the thing that you are judged upon is your skill set. A certification can give you just an entry edge, but at the end of the day, when you will be interviewed in a company, your skill set will be mattering. You cannot just say that मैंने ये certificate किया है, and you should be able to answer the questions. Well, I hope there are no more doubts. In case if there are, you can connect with me on my Instagram or LinkedIn. Cool. I'll end the live stream over here, and I hope it was an enjoyable and a valuable session from my end for you people. Looking forward for more such amazing sessions and amazing presence of you all into the upcoming live sessions of Cyber Footprints. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining in, for tuning in into this live session, and officially I'll end the live stream. Bye everyone.